Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is technically round 2 of the Tuesday Night Swiss. However, as all of you know, I got a bye the first round. I opted to take a 0-point bye. I got matched in a side game, and although I was very, very much winning against Nico Brayton, I was not able to complete the deal. I totally fucked up an endgame. I was like plus 10 at one point, I believe, and I just drew. That has no bearing on the tournament, but at 0 points, because I wanted to kind of get matched against the lower tier players of the Open. So all these players are good, but they're not as good as some like the master level players. And in round 2, I was paired against Romain Magnet. I've seen him around the club, but I haven't chatted him before this. And again, super nice guy. I learned that he was actually French. Not that he was. He is. And he actually grew up close to Avignon. And I know Avignon because my mom actually spent a little more than a year there. My mom is a Latin teacher, but also a French teacher. She's currently teaching French. So she has a lot of admiration and love for France, to be completely honest. Anyway, Romain, struck out with E4. And I'm going to be honest, I've been studying E4. I've been going over my openings. I think as all of you know who have been watching my videos, that I've been playing a lot of Pirc defense. But I've been shifting. And to set the stage, 2 other things. Number 1, I have... The last 2 weeks of online chess have been very weird for me. I've been losing a lot. I've been trying these new openings. I've been incorporating different stuff for white as well as black. For example, here I'm playing the Nimzovich defense, so I think I'm getting better. And my results, I hit my all-time highs. Chess.com, I hit, I'm over 1900 Blitz. I hit over 1800 Bullet. Elite Chess, 2100 and 2200. In fact, during that time, I've beaten an IM. I've beaten a few other title players, actually, both Blitz and Bullet. So clearly I've been playing pretty well as far as making big progresses. However, over the last 2 weeks, I've also lost like 200 points in all formats and all sites. I wouldn't quite say it's a crisis of confidence, but it's perplexing, where I know I can play very well, but on the whole, I have not been playing very well. So I am trying to change that in Classical. Now, of course, I really do no longer believe that online play has much bearing to Classical. I mean, it has a little bit, but very little. And so I've decided that, let's bring my A game. I also brought up this. Now, I'm sharing some notes. I was doing some studying today. And what's funny is I studied this Knight C3 response with a gambit. It's known as the Berlin Gambit. And I actually know that I was struggling with this because online I keep losing to this bullshit. And what's funny is I literally said today, we're going to figure this out, Rob. Like, let's go like 8 or 9 moves deep. And sometimes studying really pays off because... my opponent played right into this. Literally exactly, an hour before the game, before I left for the chess club, I spent maybe an hour and 15 going over my openings, specifically against E4. I had a feeling he was going to play E4. It's the only thing I studied against, so this is what I was preparing, to be completely honest. I'm sure sometimes I'll study stuff, it's happened, and it won't be useful at all, but this was not one of those days, which is great. So, all right, let's just jump into the game. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about my opponent, Mr. Frenchman, Romain, that I should comment on. Not really. Class act. I will point out I made an illegal move at some point, and I'll tell you the whole origin story to that. It was kind of wild. But on the whole, I am very excited to see what the computer says. Because we'll see what the computer says. All right. As far as time usage, I blitzed the first 10 moves in 2 minutes. I'm not kidding. I was prepared. And I remembered it. I was sharp. And so I built up about 15 minutes in the opening, because Romain didn't spend a lot of time. Some people, when they don't know an opening or they don't see it, they really, really study it. He kind of just rolled with the punches and played what seemed to be mostly natural moves. For the record, I definitely got a better position out of the opening, so, again, studying pays off. But the clock usage was basically, I got a big time advantage of about 15 minutes. I built it up to maybe 20. Then the mid-game, I started to mess up a little bit, and I started using more time. And then I think at one point I dipped a little bit below him. And then when we got to the end game, and yes, this game will end in the end game, another one. This is not a middle game checkmate from either player. When we got there, I built up a bit of a time edge, so I actually finished with less than 10 minutes, but my opponent finished with less than 2. Maybe he won, maybe he lost, maybe we drew, but we were one of the last games to finish. I think the second to last game to finish tonight, for the record. All right. So we played into the Nimzovich. I showed the Berlin Gambit because that's exactly what we played. So we have some E4, Knight C6. D4, which is very, very common. I'm going to disable the analysis. I forgot about that. We'll look at the analysis after the fact, but I do know that this is all book. I like the Scandinavian version, for the record. E4 is the Kennedy variation. I don't like that as much. My friend Ryan, who watches these videos, prefers that move, but already that's where we deviate. My friend and me. He plays knight c3, which is, again, when all my options pushing and taking are more common. This is the third most common. It's the Bogo-Libuvov variation that will turn into the Berlin Gambit, so which is kind of funny. So anyway, online I've been losing this a lot because it is a tricky move. Again, he was blitzing, but I had studied, and I know, fuck it, I'm taking that pawn. I'm going to snatch it off, snappy, and he fires away with d5, obviously targeting my knight. His idea is to recollect the pawn, and this is where studying pays off. Most people online play like knight b4 with the idea of hitting the pawn again. Sometimes they jump over to e5, but I played the crazy move knight b8. And the reason why is I know this is the best computer move, and this is what I studied. So I played this like immediately at the board, and he was like, "What is going on here?" Now he doesn't speak like that. I am actually when I DM and whatnot, I'm actually capable of doing many accents. I am incapable of doing a French accent, so I'm not even going to try. I'm terrible at it. He ripped off the pawn, and I know the key move here is c6. The idea if he takes, we just redevelop, and actually black is a little bit better. The idea, though, is actually, to be completely honest, we're supposed to trade first, mess up their ability to castle, and then take the pawn. Normally, they don't take. There's three moves that I've studied. There's the bishop defense, there's the backwards knight move, and then there's the pawn up. I believe the pawn up is the best move. The trickiest move is the knight, but he did neither of those. He played the bishop c4, and I was ready. I was rocking. I was rolling. Yeah, here we go. Berlin Gambit. And I was like down to clown, given I was prepared this deep. I know it's takes. They can either take with the queen, in which case I would take, or they can take with a bishop. Yeah, it's either one is fine. There's no worries here. I think they're basically the same, but I think actually queen takes might be slightly better. I think. But he takes with the bishop. My key move here is e6, ejecting the bishop, for the record. You all can see this. He dropped it all the way to bishop e3. I know I'm supposed to trade. Queen takes, queen takes. Did I already mess up? Yes, I did. Oh. I fucked up. Alright, no worries. Let me very, very quickly blitz out the moves once again. e4, knight c6, d4, d5, knight c3, which is the tricky move, d takes, d5, knight b8, that's the computer move, that's what I was working on, knight takes on e4, c6, offer the pawn, they don't take it, he played bishop c4, which is fine, defending the pawn, I played c takes, he plays queen takes, no, he did play queen takes, yeah, this is the better version. I played queen takes, he played bishop takes, I then played e6, we basically wind up the exact same position. Now he dropped bishop b3, and the key move here, once he drops the bishop, and this is about, 9 moves, this is where my prep ends, we play bishop d7. And the reason why is I want to basically use this long diagonal, mess up their ability to castle, maybe long castle, and and go from here. And I know in this position, or at least I think black is slightly better. I certainly hope so, because this is where I prepared to. Okay, I'm wrong. Was bishop d7 not the best move? Knight f6. Did I mess up? Really? Bishop d7 is not the best move? I thought it's the second best move. It's fine. Bishop d7 no is the best move. Okay. Well, clearly I didn't let the computer run. I've arrived at equality. Bishop d7. Okay, you guys can see this now. Phew! When you see that, I'm like, what the hell? All right. And I know that I've reached equality. Not that this is like winning or anything special for black, but I'm in good shape, and I kind of know how to proceed. So, all right, let's get into the game. This is where my prep ended, and this is where the real game began. My opponent moved knight c3. He's trying to get it away because I would otherwise move with tempo, possibly, to attack, or he'd have to like start pushing his pawns, giving me some maybe either checks, or again, like running on down through the king. I really can't draw arrows. It's habitual. And so this is like literally my first think of the game. I ended up playing knight f6, but I was considering pinning. I was considering getting it to c5, thinking I would zero down that pawn. I didn't consider knight c6 because I was a little bit worried about like these sort of pin ideas. I wanted to leave that square open for my own bishop. I thought that was the idea. And I actually was considering knight a6. with the idea of jumping it to b4 possibly, maybe putting pressure on the c pawn. Overall, though, I said, whatever, let's just get the knight involved. I had some idea of bringing it to g4 and kind of, again, with the bishop c5 bearing down on the f-pawn this way. So those are kind of like the attacking ideas that are kind of going through my brain at this point. He responds with bishop e3. And by the way, the big reason why I moved the knight first and not the bishop, literally, and these are some of the thoughts that I'm thinking about, is I thought that this is the square he wanted for his bishop, which gave me some strong consideration to play bishop c5 myself. Not that it takes it away, but then trade, and I think that isolated pawn is a good position for me. But moreover, this now allows me to pin his knight, which is exactly what happened. He plays here, and now I play bishop b4. I kind of let him show me where to move my piece, with the idea if he doesn't immediately support it, I could snap it off, and then I immediately have a target. With the open c file, I'd want to swing my my a rook to the c file, and I would already kind of like my game. And that's kind of like what was going through my head, sort of I was letting him dictate. However, he plays knight g to e2. He's now connected his knights. I obviously don't want to trade until there's a reason to do so, and I went into the tank again. If you look at development, he's got his pieces out. He has no center. I technically have the e-pawn, so maybe there's a slight advantage there. We both have the bishop pair. I do want to get this knight out, but I'm not sure I want to put it on b6, because I think that's where my bishop belongs. I didn't think developing my bishop to c6 immediately was great, because he would just castle, and I didn't really see a problem with that. So I thought I found a really good move. I found knight g4. My thinking here was if I played knight g4, if he just castles and ignores, I would take, he would take. I would have the bishop pair, he'd have an isolated pawn on the e file, and I think that I would just be better. Like, that would be a very easy weakness to play against. I would still have the threat, and basically with the idea of it again, then just swinging my knight in. So I think he has to react to that. And I did this deep calculation. If he tries to avoid by basically moving up, yes, maybe I have e5 to support it, but I actually thought now I'd play knight c6 with tempo, and I calculated if he takes, I move here, I would actually trap his bishop, because he doesn't have the retreat square here or here, because my knight, which is now on g4, would take it away. He wouldn't have the e5 or d4 square because of my knight. So I was calculating all that stuff, thinking that maybe he just has to let me go into this. And then he thinks for a while. This was Romaine's first real think of the game. And to be completely honest, I thought he was going to have to just fully retreat the bishop. So I thought I was making progress by basically, anti-development. But, this is where candidate moves. He surprises me. And he plays, maybe it's the best move in the position. I don't know. But he brings it forward. And the reason why I discounted this is I thought in a lot of lines, I always have e5 with tempo. Obviously, you can just bring it back. But basically, e5, f6, and I would have built a very strong pawn chain. And I honestly thought that would just be good for me. So that's why I kind of immediately discounted this move. But maybe I'm wrong, I thought for a long time here. Again, I had a huge time advantage for spending literally 2 minutes in my first 10 moves. So my next couple, I started to really slow down and really, think. And I wondered if I should go into that plan right away, but I thought I didn't need to, that maybe I could attack the pawn first. I thought maybe then f3 would be weakening and forced, again, opening up this diagonal. But I made a critical mistake here. That's only weak if he castles kingside, and I kind of missed the idea that I have so many pieces swirling around his king that he doesn't have to. He can go queenside. So I kind of regretted not playing e5 here, for the record. e5 with the idea of f6 and then slamming it. So maybe I made a move order mistake, for the record, just so you guys can see. If I played e5, you obviously can't take. My knight is defending. I thought maybe he would have some move honestly h3. And then in this line, takes, he's threatening to take. Maybe, this would be a weakening move. I don't know. This is looking kind of ooey gooey. Well, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would just snap this pawn off. We would get maybe this position. I'd have the... no, this is just good for me if we kind of continue the line. Anyway, but that's not what I saw. I thought that... I thought that maybe he could do that. I thought, again, most likely he would... Again, I thought his best move was to move back. I'm going to be very blunt. And then I would basically play here, and if he bounces back, I have here, with the idea of takes, and maybe I want to eventually use this file. It's worth pointing out that over here, before I played g4, I also was looking at a5 ideas, with the idea of a5, a6, but I didn't want to do it because I thought that if I weaken my a pawn, that maybe in some lines I need to take away this b5 jump. So I wasn't sure. And plus, here I thought that maybe he could just literally just slam a4 himself. And I thought that this pawn isn't doing much because he has a c pawn. Eventually, maybe he could play c3 and force me back. So, but I was looking at a lot of a5 ideas. Nonetheless, I did play bishop c6, and I kind of regretted it doing it in this move order because now he immediately plays f3, and I go in this long bend of calculating, wondering if e5 still works. But then I say, fuck it, and I realize from move 11 to 14, I've spent at least 5 minutes on each of those moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. I spent like 20 minutes on these moves. So I went from, again, being up 15 to 20 minutes to basically already, after move 14, kind of being equal on time. For the record, the calculation here was he would just maybe move back, and I don't have time to play f6 because this is on pre. Maybe I'd have a move like e3, maybe, but this is getting too complicating, especially because I think he could just take in the middle of the board. Anyway, so I didn't do that. I just played knight f6, and once he castles queenside, I realized I kind of blew it. I thought that I was kind of keeping him in a box here, in a heart-shaped box, but now he actually has the activity. And I thought that whatever opening advantage I had built, if I had even built an advantage, was kind of gone. I sighed. I said, all right, Rob, let's just stick to my fundamentals. Let's get my last piece into the game. I have my bishop kind of where I want it, although now it's kind of blunted by these pawns. We can kind of connect the knights. Maybe I castle queenside, maybe kingside, I'm not sure. But it looks pretty freaking equal to me. Romain plays a3. He's bumping and running this bishop. I didn't want to trade. I thought that just giving him the bishop pair for nothing was a mistake. So I did a deep calc. I didn't. Here, I'll show you the move I played. I played what... I don't know if it's the passive move or maybe it's the best. Romain, after the game, said that he thought it was a very good move. He thought it was the best move in the position. I played bishop e7. But I thought that there were a lot of situations where that was actually a problem, and I'll probably point them out in a move or two. My issue with playing back... First off, I'm not painting anything on e1. In a lot of these lines, when queens are on the board, sometimes there's still a queen or a king there. But I was worried about him playing bishop d6, and he said that's exactly what he would play. The idea is he's keeping my king in jail, and I can't really castle. I guess maybe I could still castle queenside, but I didn't like this. I thought that if I let him slam the dark square bishop here, that I'm in a bit of an issue. I don't know, maybe I'd have this move. No, he just takes. What am I talking about? All right, none of that happened. So instead of bishop e7, I was looking at bishop a5. I discounted that. And I was also looking at bishop c5. Again, keeping it on this long diagonal or short diagonal, depending on how you think. But I realized I'm not really bearing down on f2. There's no pawn there. And I don't have this check on e3. I found a lot of lines that would have been useful. But at the end of the day, I said, no, let's go for absolute safety. Let's play to e7. I'll show you in a moment why I regretted this, because it discounted a lot of my tactics and moves. Specifically, you'll see, but specifically when he's targeting my bishop with this knight, and this is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to bring it in. When he trades, he's then hitting my own bishop, which means I have to take back. Whereas if it was over here, for example, maybe I'm even taking that away. All right, that's far-flung. You'll see what I mean in a moment. I play bishop e7. I thought I'm kind of on the defensive. Oh, and what do you know? He plays knight d4. And the reason why you all can probably visualize this as far as what he is threatening. If I just castle, which is probably fine, he is threatening to take, and then I take. And is that the end of the world? No. But as I told my students in the Dorchester Library, by the way, I'm teaching chess at the Dorchester Library, is that at the higher level, you're not going to largely, win with one amazing move or one big blunder, although that does happen. It's an accumulation of small wins. And if I let him do this, Romain, he would be having two small pluses here. He'd first off have the bishop pair, which is a small plus, and he would be splitting my pawn island here. So I'd have the pawn of both the A file and C file disconnected. So in any endgame, he'd have two pawn islands, and I'd have three. Plus, he already has the 3 on sort of 1-on-1 majority here. So I thought that would be really weakening. So I thought this move caused a lot of problems when he moved knight d4, and I had to think for a long time. And again, I'm telling you, I had built a massive time advantage. Already by move 17, I gave it back. And I thought I played the best move here. Again, I calculated castles. I calculated moving forward, sort of takes, and I thought that was even bigger problems. I was also worried about him not even taking, but swinging the knight to b5. Obviously, if I take, he just takes back, because then he's threatening this fork. Again, supported by this bishop, which is another reason why I need to castle. So I actually thought that I had like big problems all of a sudden. Like I went from a very like equal position to all of a sudden I actually believed I was quite a bit worse. And I'm going to show you the move I played. I'm proud of my move because I think it's the best move in the position. Well, of course, the computer will judge all. I played knight c5. The thinking is, knight c5 is if he takes, I have time to take because taking his own bishop is with check. He would then take back and then I would take back. He wouldn't have the bishop pair and he'd have these like blunted pawns where they're not that good against my pawns. So I thought that that was like the counter punch to solve the issues here. He can never thrust the pawn to like threaten it. And again, if he like bounces his bishop back, then maybe that's fine. You know, again, maybe I have a move up, trade, something like that. And maybe I'm salvaging the position, to be honest. For the record, just to show you what I mean, I'll show you what I mean. In this position, very bluntly, you guys can see, I think this is an advantage for white. He's got the bishop pair. These are weakened pawns. Moreover, even if he didn't do that, I thought that he might have this move. Obviously, trade. He's kind of threatening to wiggle on into c7. It's not currently forking everything because I'm castled. But again, he is, I think, making progress in my position. He's hitting a lot of pawns as well. He's bearing down. Maybe his plan would just be to stack, that kind of thing. Anyway, all that was going through my mind, and I move up. I play knight c5, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. He plays bishop c4, though. Again, I keep expecting him to move backwards, and Romain moves only forwards. I'm a Romain. No, I can't do a French accent. So I move forward, not backwards. And again, I was surprised he did this. And I start calculating. I say, do I play a6 to take away the square? Just kind of accept trade? Probably fine. I thought that was okay. I said, do I move my bishop back? I was a little bit leery of that. At the end of the day, I just castle. For the record, I thought this move was fine, basically keeping bishops on the deck, but I was still worried about this move. And maybe I should have been. Maybe this is fine, because like maybe now I can castle. I mean, my bishop is holding there, but barely. It feels like my position is maybe falling apart. I basically, when I castled, I said I don't want to spend all day trying to avoid going into like a weakened pawn structure. It's not the end of the world. Let's not like let's not let my rook into the game because I'm obsessing over pawn structure, which is probably a very small detail. Let's just castle. So I castle. Lo and behold, he plays knight takes on c6. I can't blame him. It seemed like the best move. And I play b takes on c6, of course. Bang it out pretty fast. And he plays... And this move shocks me. I thought in this position, white's got to be a little bit better. He's got a clear target. And he can, again, get his pieces into the game. His king is actually pretty safe on c1. But he plays a shocking move, and he plays bishop d6. And I was like, whoa, buddy is giving me the bishop pair. For the record, I trade, but the main move I calculated, like I spent a while, was I thought maybe I could play bishop d5 with the idea of takes. He can't put a rook on d7 because my knight is taken away. I thought that maybe he could do something like here. And I was worried that now all of a sudden I'm getting my piece stuck, my piece trapped, so I didn't like this. I can't go out wide. He just snaps it off. If I go down here, he's going to fork them. So I did see all that, but that's the move I wanted to play. And the reason why is obviously if he just takes, we just take. But then I saw I'm dropping another pawn. Maybe I get some activity, but it just didn't seem good. So I thought I had to go bishop takes. He very quickly went rook takes, pretty much reasonably. But I thought this was fine because yes, he's targeting my pawn, but it's not like the end of the world because I wasn't sure which rook to use. By the way, I thought that maybe there was some hope that I'd want to go into d8 at some point. So I play rook a c8, seeing that he doesn't have any way of putting more pressure because my knight's taking it away, and thinking that maybe I could just like double up essentially. And I thought I was holding. I didn't think I was better, obviously. In fact, I'm a little bit worse. But he doesn't have the bishop pair anymore. I thought that like I was holding steady, ready, steady, Freddy. He plays rook h d1. It's a very logical move. He's trying to take the 7th. Not possible right now because both knights are restricting him. And I have to find a move again. It's like tricky. So my whole concept of allowing his rook in was to then play knight d5, which is what I did. My thinking is, trade. I have fixed my pawns, and they are really strong, and his rook is off sides, and maybe I have attacking ideas. So I didn't think he could take. And the truth is, I thought that there were lines where I was going to trap his rook because I had this nasty knight b7 idea. I was going to prepare it with rook c7, which is what I wanted anyway to support and again think the doubling. And I thought actually maybe I was going to trap his rook. I thought maybe he'd have to be forced to sack the rook for the knight. I would take, and that I would just be way better. So this was a case where I got kind of excited, kind of chopping the connectivity of his rooks, thinking that I was just actually a little bit better here, to be honest. I thought he kind of messed up a little bit. Like, he got too excited to kind of, like, come into my position, you know? Anyway, he shocks me. Romain shocks me. But maybe not. Again, I thought... okay, I'm going to be honest. I thought he had to take... obviously, also, I'm threatening to go trade, open up these lines on the king, and I all of a sudden would have a lot of knight jumps, like tons of activity. Again, I thought that I would be a little bit better there. At some point, I want some luft for my king, because I do have some back rank issues, to be honest. But he plays knight e4. And obviously, he's targeting my knight. Yeah. I took, for the record. But I wanted to play knight b7 here. Unfortunately, I didn't think it worked, because I thought he'd be able to play rook d7. And I thought that... I thought I didn't have anything here. Like, I don't have this move. You know, obviously trade. He's better. So I thought I'd have to play something silly like rook b8. I don't know. Maybe I am trapping the rook here. The problem is I can't ever move this knight because then he can just retreat. And I can't actually target on c5 because his knight's taking it away. Excuse me. Anyway, so I did those calculations. And I did look at knight b7. I just didn't believe in them. But I calculated what I thought was the best move as well, which is takes. And in this position, I calculated takes, and I thought I had this clever move, knight e3, where I'm hitting the rook, the bishop, and the pawn. And honestly, I thought that, like, I have a lot of activity. I thought I might be better, you know? So I just went for it. He took, and this is quite literally exactly what happened. I thought my calculation was pretty solid, you know, pretty decent. I jump in. I'm forking him. I thought his only move, to be honest, was moving the rook up and then, you know, taking. And I just really like my position, you know? However, and this is what I mean, like, I didn't think I was winning here, but I thought I was up a clear pawn. I think Romain found the best move. And, you know, this is where, in the post-cap, Romain was saying that he thought I was outplaying him. And he said, you know, he's like, I got very lucky here. And I said, you know, he's like, I didn't see any of this. I got lucky. And he saw bishop a6. And this was a critical position. I spent 20 minutes in this position because I kept trying to make moves work, okay? I kept being like, shit. Like, I'll show you all the calculations because this was a critical moment of the game. I ended up playing rook b8, which I think is the best move. But I calculated knight takes, bishop takes, and if I go rook takes, maybe king takes or so, I can't move up because I get mated. So I have to, like, make some luft. And then I thought he takes the 7th, and, like, I'm dropping this pawn, you know? I looked at this position after takes. Maybe I had a desperado, but I thought this would be even worse for me because he could just go bishop takes. And if I go pawn takes, he goes king takes, and I'm going to be losing one or both of these pawns, and maybe another one. So I thought in this spot, in this endgame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'm going to lose a pawn. I thought I was just down a clear pawn, so I didn't like that. I calculated moving my rook here, but I thought this too wasn't great. I thought that he had to play rook 1 to d2 with the idea, again, protecting here. And he still maybe has some back rank stuff. Again, I'm not sure what I would have played here. I thought if I go up, you know, again, maybe he plays over here. I'm losing squares for my knight. I don't know. I thought that, again, his idea is to take the 7th. You know, let's say I try to free myself. He just takes it. And obviously if I trade, he's still hitting this pawn. Not that I would necessarily trade, but I can't move my rook back is the problem because his bishop is taking away the c8 square, as you guys can see this. So I was going through all these calculations. I mean, this was a critical moment of the game. I played, you know, again, 20 minutes, looking at all the takes here. I looked at sacrificing. I wondered if there were some lines where I would take the g2 pawn. And then I thought I found the best move of rook b8. My idea was to rook lift it to b6. I'm obviously still hitting his rook. If he like attacks my knight, I would just take his pawn, essentially checking his rook, and I'm escaping. So I calculated all that out. Obviously, his bishop is taking away, by the way, all the light squares along that diagonal. So I thought I had enough time to basically slide over. I looked at any of these back rank stuff, and if he pushes down, once I moved up, I obviously don't need to take this. Taking would make me lose the game. I could just chill, kind of make some look for my king, and then if he takes, I take. Then if he checks, it's not checkmate. I have the escape square. So I actually am very proud of myself. I did all of these calculations. I spent 20 minutes on what I thought was a critical moment of the game. I played bishop b8 with the idea of pushing to b6. He plays rook d1 to d2, which makes total sense. He's trying to glue, maintain this diagonal. And yeah, I say, screw it. Let's go rook b6. Thinking that maybe his best move, if he blitzes and breaks the centrifuge, he no longer is basically threatening any of these back rank. Certainly would have time. Maybe I thought I needed to find a way to get my knight out. If he moved there, maybe I'd go to g4 with the idea of rerouting it, of course, back to the f6 square. Again, putting pressure on the e4 pawn, which is isolated now, for the record. Maybe I'd slide it to d5 with the same idea, kind of in front of the pawn. I think that's the concept against isolated pawns. And I thought I was just better here. Like, I was rather pleased with my position. However, I think Romain blunders, and he shocked me. He played this move very quickly, and after the game he said he thinks he moved too fast. And the reason why, of course, is he's giving me the g-pawn. Now, in fairness, these pawns are very weak. I'm not sure it's like a clear pawn, but I did calculate first. Does he have any discovery? Because again, as soon as he moves the bishop, the rook would be targeting my knight. And I said, no. No discovery, no discovery, no discovery, no discovery, no discovery, no discovery, etc., etc. Maybe, like, takes here, I move back and, takes the pawn or something. But then maybe I even can, put pressure. Maybe not, because then he's actually going to checkmate me. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe that was his best move. It's basically a pawn for a pawn. But then it gets rid of my isolated pawn on the c-file for his connected pawn on the left-hand side of the board, the king side. And I think that's just good for black. So I was thrilled because I was like, okay, I'm up a pawn. Like, life is peanuts, pretty good. He plays rook d7. Right, I take the pawn. He doesn't even make use of the discovery. He plays rook d7. Obviously, he's targeting the pawn. I wondered if my best move is just play a5 or a6. The idea if I play a6, I think he just swings underneath, and he will win the pawn back. So I immediately said, all right, Rob, maybe you're not actually up a pawn. Let's not, try to hold on to it. Let's just make sure that I'm not getting my knight trapped. Let's play knight f4, targeting his bishop with check. And I thought now, if he lets me trade without taking this, then I probably would hold the pawn. I thought his best move is obviously just go rook takes pawn. I would take his bishop. He'd have to move the rook, and then I thought I could maybe take the file. Maybe not right away. I maybe would need some look for my king. But yeah, maybe it's trending towards equality, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. However, Romain shocks me. He flat out shocks me. And he plays rook f3 here. That's not possible. Maybe that's a B rather than an R. My handwriting is terrible. That makes more sense. Yeah, bishop f3. Yeah, and he's moving it out of the way. He's obviously taking away my checking square. Checking squares for the record. But as soon as he moved it away, I shrugged, time or whatever is still fine. I said, you know what? Fuck it. a6. I'm holding my pawns. Maybe down the road I have ideas once I have some look for my king of attacking down the b file. Let's hold it. I probably won't be able to hold it, but, I can say I'm a little bit better because I'm up a pawn and you're not, whatever. What do you have to show for it? I don't think much other than I'm probably going to lose a pawn back, but that's okay. So I play a6. He plays rook c7. He's trying to get behind the pawn. His idea is to push, but I thought as soon as he pushes e5, I was going to maybe block with my knight. I thought then in those lines, maybe he'd have c4, but then he's opening the door to some jumps. Again, then I'd be hitting the pawn for the record. I did calculate all that. So I was kind of looking ahead at those ideas, and I got kind of excited. And then I thought I saw something even better. I played g5 here. Because remember for 10 moves, I'm I would really like some look for my king. Oh boy, it would be nice to have an escape square if he, if he gets me on the back rank. And I say, why not just g5? And my idea was really clear cut. I want to play g5, h5. He can't take the pawn, supported by the knight. And then I just ran g4 with tempo, pushing his bishop back, and trying to play the 2 against 1 and make a queen. And I was like, that looks pretty good to me. g5. At this point, Romain kind of like groaned, and he was like, oh dear. Because I think he realized that at this point, black is just better. Like, I'm just better here. Am I winning? Probably not. He plays rook d6. He's desperate to win this pawn back to kind of get to equality. And I think I should have stuck to my plan. I probably should have played h5. Instead, I think I made a suboptimal move. I'm not sure. I got too tricky for my own good, and it was a slight miscalculation. I thought if I play knight g6, I can reroute it to the more attractive e5 square. Because if I go to g6, he takes my pawn, I take his rook, he would take my rook. I'm forking his pieces once I've rerouted to e5. Unfortunately, I think he could just literally move the rook back. Then if I take, he takes. And yes, I have these pushed pawns and maybe king activity, but I don't think it's special. I think the h5 idea here is better, for the record. So I'll show you my move I play here. I think this is better. And the idea here is, let's say he takes, I take, he takes, I just push on him. And, obviously he can't move here or here because my knight is taking those away. So he has to put himself in like a really dumb square, to be honest. I don't know if I would just necessarily push h4 here, but the point is I'm trying to, obviously if I can ever push this takes, he's not taking away the f2 square because my knight, boom. And now there's no threat. Maybe I can take, again, lock his king out. So this is kind of what I saw, but I should have gone for it. I got too tricky with the idea of takes, knight to e5, hit. I thought rook c3, only move, takes, and then pushing the pawn with the idea of getting my king up. And that was my grand calculation, everybody. That was what I calculated. But he surprised me by playing b3 here. And I know in a lot of lines, now that I have the look for my king and escape square, I am threatening to double up and maybe run it down on the b file. But I was actually kind of like shocked at this move. And so I said, fuck it. He's giving me the square. He's not even taking the pawn. I can hit the bishop. Let's do it. And I go knight e5 anyway. This is a monster square. I'm hitting here. I'm maybe protecting g4 so I can push. And I was like, let's fucking go. I think so far I'm playing beautifully, to be honest. He plays bishop h5. On one level, he's attacking the pawn. He's got 2 attackers. It kind of ties down my f-rook. But I then said, oh my god, look at this, guys. I was like, holy shit, I'm trapping his bishop. If I push g4, I mean, I don't think he can play h3. I think I just take it. I think I just run it down, probably. Maybe he's in time. But if he doesn't, and I'm able to push g4, I can walk up and just kill his bishop. And that is a brilliant idea, except for one fly in the ointment, which you're all going to see. And I got super excited about trapping his bishop. I was calculating all these h-pawn moves and thrusts, and I was like, oh baby, oh baby, baby, oh baby, 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 baby. And I was kind of clapping like that, and I was like, okay, is it more accurate to play up first, or should I move my king up? And I was like, what should I do? What should I do? And I play king g7. And as soon as I played this after all the calculations, I completely fucked up as he plays rook e6. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't take because I'm pinned. I can't move forward, which is what I want to do to trap it, because he's taking it away with the rook. And I was like, I just threw everything away. And I went from a high of being like, I'm trapping his bishop, I got this like passed pawns, I have the activity, my pieces are in good shape, I'm up a pawn, to now I'm not up a pawn, I'm locked in a box, my knight is on pre, and I was like, oh my god, I fucked up. And honestly, this is where I had like a haze, a daze, a malaise. And I staggered. This was my brain fog of the game. I missed that. I try to move my knight to f4, okay? And I'm like, I moved to knight to f4, and he was watching me go, he's like, I think that's an illegal move. And I was like, I'm getting the fork. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, you get 2 minutes if you want it. He's like, no, don't worry about it. So he didn't even take the 2 minutes. I put the piece down, thinking I'm just like lost. I'm like in a daze, And I'm like, I need to like get back. I know that this knight is super important because it's defending the c pawn. I know that there are some lines where obviously I'd like to be able to take it. If I just simply like move my knight back, maybe I'm holding there. I don't know, but this pawn then folds, and I probably could have like folded easily here. I just like a total brutal move, and then literally on move 34, an illegal move. Again, would have been a beautiful forking square for the record. Wow, arrows. There we go. Okay, whatever. Was not to be. So instead, I like refocus. I take a deep breath. I move my rook to b5, and as soon as I do, I'm like, oh my god, did I just blunder this? And he plays a4. I spend so long in this position, like taking deep breaths, thinking, did I just butcher and blow everything? And I thought I did. I was like, yeah, you did. I was like, I definitely did. I was like, I cannot believe I threw everything away. I'm going to lose. I played a beautiful opening with a pretty solid middle game, and now that we're in this like mid to late, almost end game, I just completely spazzed out. I like showed my true rating by making this total blunder. But then I looked for resources, and I was like, oh my god, I'm actually okay. I couldn't believe it. And like this is when we talked in the aftermath, where he said that he got lucky in the move, I told him, I said, when I very quickly moved up here, and then I had to like really deeply think here, I got lucky because I was able to find what I thought was a brilliant resource. He was very complimentary, and I play rook c5. And this move looks like it loses, right? Like, oh no, b4, my rook is trapped, and then I'm going to lose my knight. But no, I have this beautiful tactic, and I saw all this, of knight to d3, he can't take because he's pinned, and then I'm able to win the pawn. And I actually think if that b pawn falls, for the record, I'm still defending the c pawn, I think I'm just winning. I also have these threats where if I clear this file, that I would have this check in the future and snap off and win his bish. And that's a very important bishop, because then I open up on his h pawn. So I saw all this eventually, and I used my time, and he was very quickly going to play b4, and then he like thought about it. And after the game, he's like, yeah, I thought I was super winning. And I was like, I know, for like 2 moves there, it looked like you were. And he realized that like it's not so simple. I think he plays a bad move here. I think he should just play what's it called? King b1. He might be out of the dodge. He might not be out of the dodge. But instead, he plays King b2. And this move is not good because I still have these checks, okay? I very quickly play g4. Obviously, he can't take. I'm defending with the knight. But my idea, I thought I was going to check him on c4. He would then take. I would then open up the bishop, and I win back the pawn. He'd have doubled c-pawns, which even if he takes back this pawn, not that great. Again, I'm putting pressure on this file, and this is a passed pawn. So I think it's just winning. So, so I was like, great. Like, maybe I'm just winning again. He thinks for a long time, he uses more time, and now he finally plays King b1, but I think that move cost him. Now, I don't have these checks, and I think I played a brilliant move here, and I said, what if I move here, therefore I'm no longer, pinned, that frees up my dumbass pawn, I can play knight d7. And I thought that if he takes, I still open up, and I'm still winning this pawn. If he doesn't take, like if he tries to go back and save the bishop, I then go and take his rook. Obviously, he can then take my other pawn. This piece will fall. It's pinned. But at the end of the door, I'd be up the exchange. He'd get 2 pawns for it, but I'd have the activity. And I thought I still was just better there. Just so you guys can see. Here, I'll show you what he did first. 37. So I thought I kind of wound my way out of dodge. He just took the pawn. Rook takes e to c6, so he took over here. But for the record, if you guys can see this, I thought that if he played over here, I would go pawn takes on e6. He could take here. I'm still pinned for the record. So like, let's say I get out of dodge, he takes here. And if you look at the pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, maybe this one's falling, maybe not. Maybe I have some clever moves. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm winning this pawn back in response. But I was totally prepared to go into this position. Let's just say, like, let's just pretend something like, no, this isn't good because then he's defending in the final move. So what would I do there? This looks good, right? Maybe he's losing the piece. But maybe not. Chess is interesting and hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm losing here. I don't know, maybe he should have gone into this. He didn't, though. He instead took the pawn. And, yeah, we get into this endgame. Again, wild and crazy kids. I obviously take the bishop. You know, rook takes on h5. He takes on d7. This lets me take on h2. He then plays rook d5. This is a good move. I thought that he had to actually move up to d3. My idea is just to push. Here, he wants to check me and then win the pawn. So, it makes sense. Again, I thought that he had to move to d3. I thought this was kind of clever. I played what I thought was a good move. I played h6. My idea here is he doesn't have this check anymore. I'm taking away the g5 square. And, yeah, we just reached this endgame. It's worth pointing out, yeah, move 34 was illegal. By move 40, he is down to 10 minutes, and I'm down to 20 minutes. So that's what I had written down the margin here. I think, how long has this video been already? 46 minutes. Yeah, sorry, this is even without the analysis, but, you know, a lot happened in this game. After I play h6, which I thought was a good move for that idea, he plays rook c3. Now he's stopping me this way. I play rook e8. My idea is to maybe just snap off the pawn. Or, if he defends it, I would move up. I would rook lift to e6 with the idea of putting it behind my pawn. g6, I don't know if you guys remember my last game, but I made the mistake of not doing that, and then I thought I could just clearly move it. I also had an idea of moving my rook over, defending my f-pawn that way, so that if he somehow like got around, I would be stopping that. That was kind of going through my head. He plays rook f5, which was a good move, I think. But I calculate everything. I'm like, can I take this pawn? All right, he swings down. Am I escaping? Yes, I am. So I decide to take the pawn. He plays rook c7. I spent a while calculating that. I then play rook e6. And my thinking was, and this is exactly what happened, so this is what I calculated, is rook takes f7. I think he took with this rook. I didn't actually write it down. I played king g6, and now I'm stopping these checks. And if he goes up, I can run over, which is exactly what happened. So rook g6, he plays rook g7 check. I play king h5. He plays rook e5 check. That's not possible. Rook c5 check. Yeah, that is possible. I play king h4. I move up. He plays rook e4. No, not possible. Maybe rook c4. Yeah, my c's and e's look a lot alike. He plays rook c4. I play rook g2. I want to push the pawn. I want to get behind. He plays b4 now. Now he's trying to push on me. I play king h3, thinking I could just walk this up, but then I realize I make a mistake because he now plays rook c5. He's trying to checkmate me. If I push the pawn, I get checkmated. This row is taken away. Let's not fall into that trap. There's still tricks and traps in this position. So I think I made a mistake when he did that, and I just said, all right, whatever, let's go back. So I just moved back. He now plays b5. I take. A takes on b5. He plays... Okay, I messed up my score sheet at this point. After a takes, he plays a takes. I then play rook f2. Trying to get down here and just trade off a pair of rooks, or get down to the 6 so that if he pushes, because I realized he could maybe play this move, rook c6, I would then block, and then I can just win this pawn. I don't want him to just push on me. Rook c4 is played. Kind of goes around. I play rook g2, defending the pawn again. It's worth noting he's hitting it. I play rook e1 check. Excuse me. Rook g2. What does he do here? Did I not write his move down? Rook g2, he played... What the hell did he play here? Well, I didn't write this down right, so I don't actually know what he played here. Rook G2. I end up going Rook E1 check, so... No way he pushes, because then I would just take. Oh, he plays here. He plays Rook B4. That's right. He got, yeah, that's right. So now I play Rook E1 check. Yeah, he plays King B2. Now I played Rook E2, and now I'm threatening this pawn. That's right. He plays Rook C4, so now he moves over. I play Rook E5, trying to win this pawn. He plays Rook B4, getting around it. And now I go Rook B4, I play Rook C5. And now I thought I put the kibosh here, stopping it and making sure I win this pawn. He plays B6. He's just running with his pawn. I do all these calculations, and I realize that takes, move up, check, trade, king trade, rook behind, and I'm winning. And I breathe a sigh of relief because I realize at this point that I have won the game. Yeah, we go through it. He makes me play it out. Not that I blame him, don't get me wrong. He plays king b3. I play a rook check on b2. He plays king c4. I play rook takes on b4. He plays king takes. I play rook b2 check. He plays king c5. I play g3. I can just maybe queen the pawn. He plays rook d7. I play h5. I thought this was a key move. I play h5 because I thought I calculated here, and if I try to move up to get to this square, I thought that maybe he'd have this move, g6, threatening to win this with check, and obviously can't push because then he just takes. So I thought that maybe I was no longer winning in that line. So I didn't calculate that. So I thought if I play h5, he no longer has that idea because he'd be behind the pawn. So that's why I pushed h5. He plays rook d4 check. I play king h3. He plays rook b4. I was now worried. I was like, oh my god, did I get shat on here? Am I on like a checking square? And I realized, no, I'm not, and I will be winning here. But I almost like blundered that or so. So I take, he takes, and then after king takes, I play g2, and he resigns. And the reason why is he pushes here, I push here, he pushes here, and then I have check, pick up the queen, and it is just over. So I win. I won the game. I'm thrilled. It was a hard fought one. 1736 or something. Is that what he was? 1739. Okay, 1739. Not bad. Yeah, I'm thrilled to have gotten the win. I had like that massive brain fart at one point. Horrible. Found some nice resources, and came out on top. I'm really curious how I did. Let's find out. 85%. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with any game over 85%. Romain definitely didn't play amazing. I made that one blunder, which I know, and that's a brutal. I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh, brutal it shall be. All right, let's go into the analysis real quick. 15 minutes for the that was a long one. 85% actually pretty decent, but it was a pretty competitive game, pretty tricky game. I had that one blunder when I've been very blunder free, so it's kind of disappointing, but blunders do happen. Other than that, I think I played very, very well. So we'll see what the computer says. By the way, yeah, this is the best move. So this is what I mean when he pushes. Knight b8 is his best move. And it was the move I worked on. Nobody plays this knight b8 move, by the way. So, yeah, there we go. I'm actually kind of curious. Does anyone play the knight b8 move? Oh my god, I'm wrong. Okay. 81 top-level players play it. It's a very unusual move, let's be honest. Not a lot of people play it. But very good players, i.e. Magnus Carlsen, play it. So, there you go. All right, so, I'm certainly in good company. With him, with Magnusian playing that knight b8 move. It looks so funny, but I literally was looking at this earlier. All right, let's really go over this and analyze, because again, I definitely brutalized that spot, but then I played well. So big sigh of relief, big victory. Romain is, I think I've beaten one person higher than 1739. I think I just haven't played that many people that high ranked, but that's great. One win already in the open section. It's a big confidence boost. Not that I was like underconfident or anything. I most certainly wasn't. I went into this, I think last week saying I expected that not expected to win, but hoping and believing that I could and should win. But it's always nice to deliver. Next week, by the way, I play Zachary Tower, and I've yet to play the dude. I am very excited to play him. I don't know why I said my rating is 1587. It's 1630. Thank you very much. And climbing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Zach plays. I'm excited because super nice guy. I like the dude, but it'll be nice to butt heads with him. All right. He plays Bishop C4, and this is one of the three main moves, of course. This is all theory, so maybe I shouldn't even linger on the theory aspect because I just know it. Again, you guys can see, exactly what I worked with. Bishop D7 at the end of it. This is for next week, and let's finish the analysis. All right. C takes D5. Queen takes the best move. Queen takes response. Bishop takes, and then E6, which is the best move. And he moves the bishop back. So apparently, bishop E3, it's one of the two best moves, of course. Well, there's only two moves in this position. Doi! Otherwise, I just snap it off. Obviously, there, it just dies. So those are the only two squares that could go. It looks like bishop E3 is slightly worse than C4. I have no idea why, but with a 0.1 difference, who cares? The fact that the computer gives only a good for a 0.1 difference is ludicrous to me. All right, so let's start analyzing from this position because this is what I'd studied. Entering the game. Then at this point I'm on my own. He plays knight to C3, which is the fifth best move. It's not fourth best move. Not bad. Boom, drops the dynamite, and now this is what I meant. As soon as we arrive in the spot, black is slightly better. So they do like knight c6. I thought that I didn't want to do this to take because I thought that's where my bishop belonged. I ended up playing knight f6, which is the other best move, and I did look at bishop b4, which is the other best move as well. So cool. I mean, and bishop c6. I mean, those are all like the obvious moves. Those are considered the natural moves in this spot. But those are all the moves I was counting on. So I do play knight f6. It looks like black. I've again crack in the opening. Big success. Great success. That's my Scottish voice. Bishop e3 is his best move. It's what I thought that he would play. It's the very obvious natural move. It has a lot of scope, as you guys can tell. But I thought this opened the door to now pinning with bishop b4, which is what I do. But they don't like it anymore. Remember how I mentioned I was looking at these a5 ideas? The computer does like a5. A5, a4 ideas. Which is, in total fairness, one of the ideas I was looking for. Maybe there's a lot of zeros. Maybe my move is not bad. Yeah, my move is also just as fine. So it looks like there's a million moves in that spot that all of them are all pretty reasonable. But those are kind of the ideas I had. He plays knight e2, which is the best move. It makes sense, because otherwise I will just muck up his pawns. Let's say he plays something like queenside castling, which I don't think is bad. I would just immediately take this. In fact, it's not even the best move. They still want to play knight c6, but I would go bishop takes on c3, and then after pawn takes on c3. Computer has this, for the record, as totally equal. Minus 0.1 is equal. I mean, black is technically slightly better, but I would never call it that way. But I thought aesthetically this is great for me because, yes, he has the bishop pair, but these pawns are so easy for me to hit. I want to stick a knight on d5. Obviously, jumping here, maybe he has to block in his own knight. His own bishop. But then he's giving me these squares, hitting that. I'm now hitting both the rook and the pawn. Again, with a5, a4. It becomes much easier for black to play from this position, I think, anyway. So he stops it with knight e2, which is nice. And it's funny, the computer is still saying, Babo, yes, you want to play your bishop to c6, but it's okay to put your knight there. Just get the knight in the game. Just get the knight in the game. So obviously I should have listened to that. They do like this knight g4 idea, though. It is the fourth. It's just as good. 0.1 and 0.07 are equal. So they do like my move. Cool. And again, the whole time the calculation was. I'm actually curious if it looks like my calculation was good. That I didn't think this move worked at all. Yeah, knight c6. So this is exactly what I was going to do. Knight c6, and that he can't take the pawn. In fact, the computer. He's saying if he takes the pawn, yeah, this is exactly what I calculated. And then he'd have to, go to d4. And I thought this was just great for me. I would take, he would take... I mean, when I say great for me after all this, this is my little calculation. I mean, it's minus 0.5. I just mean I thought the black was better here. And I was happy with myself because I found this ideal with the activity and the pieces getting into everything. And funny enough, in fact, they want to continue the attack with a5, a4, which again was the idea that I had throughout this game. But he didn't go into this, so it doesn't even matter. But I'm just going to leave this here for a moment, just in case the computer needs to catch up. But like, this is a case where white is up a pawn, but black is better. I think I have far more activity, and the fact my king's in the middle of the board doesn't matter. We're trending towards the end game. I just think a lot of his stuff is like pinned. So I'm a fan. Yeah, so that's kind of what I calculated. But he plays the better move. It's worth pointing out. When I played here, bishop f4 is his best move, and for whatever reason, yeah, like bishop d2 is the move I kept thinking he was going to play. Is also the best move. So it's just one of these spots, and this happens so often where I thought he was going to play this, which is the best move, but he played this move, which is also the best move. And so it's just one of the spots where everything you calculate, on their time or the turn before, you kind of throw it out the window, to the walls, to the skeet, balls. But all right, yeah. And I think I was too wedded to the idea of getting the bishop on this diagonal. The computer is still saying it's like an equal game if I just play knight to c6. There's nothing wrong with it, so I probably should have done that. I don't, and. Yeah, I mean, white. I mean, I spent a long time on these moves. I think I was too rigid. He immediately plays f3. It does seem like the best move of the position. And I think I was too rigid with my thinking, wanting this setup. But I should have been more flexible in my thought. I play the knight of 6, of course. Yeah, I mean, I think I was telling you I was wondering if I had a few other ideas here. Obviously, taking is an idea, but it's just not as good, just giving away the bishop. It didn't make sense to play to h6. I thought he would just take and he would damage my pawns. So yeah, so I play knight f6, and I think this is what I mentioned in the recap, that like around this time, I thought that black, not that I was like ever really like much better, but like clearly he had battled, and I did think white was slightly better. Point 3 and point 4 is really nothing to write home about, but I did think I messed up a little bit, and castling that's queenside is the best. I mean, Romain is playing all the best moves here. Full credit to him. Romain crushed it. Mr. Lettuce Man himself. You see this, guys? They do like castling best. But no, they like my move best. Knight bd7 is the same move. Castling is reasonable. I play here. Best move. Cool. He plays a3, which is the best move. I mean, Romain has ripped off the best move in this position. He's playing the best moves a lot. Like you got to give him credit. And they do like. Oh, it's interesting. Bishop a5 is the best move, and it's what I wanted to play. But I'm very curious. This is the move I wanted to play. Remember, bishop a5, and I said I couldn't do this because I thought that he would just slam bishop into d6. Why is this not a problem? Bishop d6 is one of his best moves. This is what I had said. Oh, and the reason why is because I can still queenside castle, and it's fine. Black is fine here. I thought that this would be problematic for me, to be honest. But the computer says it's not. So basically, he plays over here, he plays over here, and then he just moves back. A6. I mean, the computer says this is point 2, but I will say this looks uncomfortable for black. I'm not going to lie, but maybe it's fine. That didn't happen, though. After he castled, I played up. He played a3. He bounced me. I did fine. Again, it's interesting. Bishop a5 is totally fine, but my move, bishop e7, is the second best move. So... And I did wonder if I'm supposed to put it on c5, but it looks like bishop c5 is also... Okay, it's the same as bishop e7. I guess I didn't mention the spot where I wanted it here rather than here. And I think I said it's when he plays the knight up. There were a lot of lines where then takes, he's then hitting my bishop, so I wouldn't have time to push. Because when he played... Yeah, I'll get into it here. So I play bishop e7. His best move is knight d4. So he's played all the best moves for a while now. Okay, he's cranking it. Romaine's playing great. I kept looking at e5, and it doesn't work because, yes, I'm forking these two pieces, but he just takes my bishop. And I thought after takes. And that's why I was annoyed with having my bishop there, because I thought that in a line where, let's say, I go here to bc5, and then he plays d4. Here, I'm going to take the analysis bar just so you guys can see what I mean. Here, now I thought I was threatening e5, because if then takes, he doesn't have this escape. He has to move out of the way. I'm kind of curious what I'm missing here. This is quite good for white, though, because apparently he can just move back. I'm actually surprised this is +1. Maybe this pawn is super weak and it's going to fall or something, and I've got problems along this diagonal. Okay, well, none of that happened, and I guess maybe it's good that I didn't move my my piece there. So, all right. So bishop e7, once I play here, he does the best move, ooh, that is the best move. All right, cool. So let's turn the analysis tab back on. I thought I found the best move with knight c5, and it is the best move according to the computer, so kudos to me. Kudos to me. Knight b6 is also a move with the idea of takes, and I guess because I'm looking to plant a knight on d5. That makes a lot of sense too. But I liked my move, knight c5, with the idea, of course, and he doesn't let me, but if he... I'm actually kind of curious. Yeah, knight takes on c6, and then knight takes on b3, and then c takes, and then b takes. And yeah, this is just equal. This is what I meant. Like, this is what I saw in game, and what I was ready to go into. And it looks like it's plus 0.2, plus 0.3. This is nothing. I mean, it's slight advantage for white, but it's a game. And I thought this was fine for me. Like, he doesn't have a bishop pair. I have the split pawns, but he's got, like, the awkward pawn structure. And I don't really have, like, worries about him, you know, forking me, kind of jumping in. So, yeah, in fact, his best moves are, like, king b1. Those are kind of hard to find, to be honest. Yeah. So I was ready to play this position. I didn't mind this. However, that's not what happened. He again moved forward. Romaine, Mr. Moves Forward only. Yeah, it looks like I mean, for the record, in the mid game here, he played like a machine. He played like a robot, a robo-bobo. I castled in this spot, which is also one of the best moves. All right, so it looks like, I mean, we're both playing pretty well here. A6 is the other idea, just to kind of protect the b5 square. And the best move is, and this is the other move I was considering. I don't know if I wrote this one down here, but bishop d7 is the best move in the position, preserving the bishop. I'm not surprised the computer likes that. Why was I worried about this move? Oh, right, because I thought that he was then going to threaten this fork anyway. Yeah, I think I said when I did the work here is I think I could just castle in this position, and I didn't see the danger here. And I regretted not going into this line, kind of keeping the bishops on the board. Yeah, and this looks now that this is good for black. This is plus 0.5 or plus 0.6, but this looks fine, right? Like there's no worries here. But I castled in this position, and white just has an advantage. White is plus 0.7 or so. He trades, which is the best move, which is what I thought he'd do. I take back with the b pawn, of course, and yeah, and he like throws away his advantage to a small extent. He's still a little bit better, but the computer wants him to go rook h e1, which makes sense. Just kind of get into the center of the board, let the big pieces, the big mama pieces, do their work, and force me to kind of come up with a move. I was going to play knight d5. And just try to lock down the center there. Maybe it doesn't work here. No, it takes. He can sack everything, and then he opens up on this bishop, maybe? I don't know. But instead he plays bishop d6, which is an inaccuracy. All right, kittens. Stop doing that. What are you doing, you little weirdo? You're a little wacko. Little wacko-jacko. All right, so bishop d6, and immediately it's an inaccuracy because I could just trade. Although what's funny is white is still better. Like Romaine is like maintaining his advantage. He's playing, he's playing the best moves here. Obviously, he takes with the rook, only move. And did I play the best follow-up? Rook ac8 and rook fc8. I had no idea which rook was better. I knew it was one of these things that obviously I have to protect that pawn. Obviously, it's one of those two moves, and I just 50-50'd it, to be honest. I've said many, many times I'm not good enough to know that, like, which rook belongs where in these situations. It's a difference of 0.2, so like it would be nice to know why it's better to use this rook. Maybe so I can like move my king up and use my king as an attacker. I don't know. Like that could be why, to be honest. I didn't do that. Computer still likes my move. Still considered excellent, so that's good. Maybe it's equal because he's saying 0.3. I don't know. Let's not overlinger that decision. Let's instead focus that he plays his move, which is still a good move. And it's 0.3. We're like in the bounce. We're in the weeds. We're in the wax. We're in the woes. Oh, they don't like my move. My move gets a question mark. Wow, I thought this was such an obvious move, skizzering away his pieces. They like rook c7, just take the second, which is the other move I considered playing for the record. Get out of this nonsense and just go from there. a5 is decent too. But I play a bad move here. Why? Well, he plays the best move. I didn't think this was good. What the hell am I missing? Guys, what are we missing? Guys, what am I missing? He plays the best move again. So Romaine's played like 10 computer moves in a row. Good for him. They like trading. So I trade. He takes. What am I missing here? Why is my move not best? I play knight e3, which is the best move according to the computer. I thought I'm just better here. He finds the only move in the position. So, okay. When I play this, and I didn't see this move until he played it, he didn't see this move until he played it, but it is the best move, and he's actually plus 1.7, so white is just, like, considerably better. Okay, wow. So what the fuck happened this game? How did I turn this around if he's just kicked my ass? He plays the best move here. So knight takes. I thought knight takes. I thought when we trade that all down, he just has an easy endgame. I play rook b8, which I thought was great. So what move did he miss? Like, what the hell did he miss? Because this is plus 1.8. That's a huge advantage. And I'm telling you, in game, once I landed this move, I felt like I was better. Rook g1. And maybe just this knight's like out of play or something, I guess. Rook g1. Rook 1 to d3. And rook 1 to d2. This was the move I thought that he'd play. And that was the move. That was the obvious move to me. And it's the move he played. Rook 1 to d2. Because it's getting it away from being attacked by the knight, number 1. And it's protecting the g-pawn. Looks like rook to g1 does the same thing. I guess maybe you're then looking to push the pawn. I don't know. And rook 1 to d3 attacks the knight, but I thought that if he plays rook 1 to d3, I could just take the pawn. Yeah, the computer's saying I would take the pawn. So what am I missing here? He would then take on c6. Okay, so we just start consolidating pawns here. But isn't this, like, good for me? I don't know. Maybe he's, like, coming down into the 7th or something, and his bishop is better than my knight, I guess. That's what the computer's arguing. All right, well, whatever. Nonetheless, that didn't happen. He played up, which is still fine. I could follow through with my plan. It is the best move. Rook b6. And he has to play bishop d3. Okay, so this is where he blunders. So this is still the second best move in the position. Wow. I don't know. These are tough moves. These are like only moves. So bishop d3 is what maintains his advantage. Honestly, I thought this is what I thought he'd play, by the way. But I thought that now his rooks aren't conjoined anymore. And he's not attacking my pawns. Like, I thought I was holding here fine. Yeah, they like this move, which is what I was going to play to kind of put pressure. And I thought he'd play b3 to, again, get off of it. And then they like h5. I don't know if I'd play h5, but I'd play something to give me Luft for the king. Let's say I play h5, just pretend. h3 is a tricky move to play. Bishop e2. Well, he's got a lot of choices here. He's just better. All right, he plays bishop e2. The computer says I should take the pawn, and even though I'm up a pawn, it's still +1. You've got to be kidding me, computer. Really? It is +1 in this position? Romain and I missed it because we both said and thought that in the middle of the game that black is better, but computer knows all. He needs to play rook d7, which is what he does, and he plays the best move. How is his accuracy so low? Because it looks like Romain played like a motherfucking boss. They like knight f4, which is exactly what I played. My moves seem very obvious. I was giving back the pawn. He should take the pawn, for the record. He should take the pawn. I would take the bishop. He would take, and I just thought it was very equal. So you guys can see what I was prepared to do in game is rook takes on a7, knight takes on e2, rook takes, and I thought when we arrive at this position, yeah, then they like h5 just to get some luft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pawns against 5 pawns. His rooks are a little bit disjointed. Maybe I'd be able to attack on the b file. I don't think black is better, but I have the 4 on 2 here. He's got the 3 on 1. It would just be an endgame. Like we'll just see what happens here. It's an endgame where white is considerably better, but at our level, I don't think that means much, to be honest. Instead, he plays bishop f3, and this is so this was black's blunder of the game, just for the record. Like, I thought he would take the pawn and let me just trade knight for bishop, and he should have gone into that. He should have been fine with that. But it's hard to go into that, I guess, when it's like a total just equal pawn rook endgame, because it doesn't seem like it's very winning. Whereas he thought that maybe he could maintain and keep the bishops on. Bishop f1 is more accurate as well. Him going to f3, again, always forward. This is the first time him going forward with a move costs him, because he plays the wrong move here. All right, and finally when he plays bishop f3, black is better by a little bit, assuming I can find the best move, which I didn't. How the hell am I supposed to play rook a7, a6? Sorry, I wasn't considering this move at all. I played the second best move, a6. Okay, they like my move, but it kind of holds everything together. So the computer does like basically holding the pawns, and like that's what I did. Just for the record, so you can see this, the computer somehow likes rook a6 better. I guess because he can't actually attack my rook so easily. I'm kind of taking it away. He goes rook c7, and then my follow-up is h5. Again, just some luft defended by the knight. Makes sense. Pretty reasonable. All right. That didn't happen. I play a6, which I think is the human move, and it's still the best move, and I'm clinging, and even though I'm up a pawn, the computer says it's minus 0.1, so it's really nothing, so okay. By the way, this is going to be a long video. We're at 1 hour and 15, and we're not even at the juiciest part yet. He plays the best move, rook c7. Oh, guys, look at that. They like the g5 idea. Oh, baby. Well, it's not the best move, though. Oh, maybe they like knight g6 to e5 now immediately, which is what they do like to defend the pawn and attack the bishop. So they also like that here, but they do like g5. I was really proud of myself for this move. Again, I'm really surprised our accuracies were only like 85% and stuff, because it looks like we're playing a lot of best moves, to be completely honest. He's supposed to go e5 here. I thought that he was supposed to go e5, but I just didn't think it was that good. Again, I actually thought that the whole time if he was going to play this, that maybe I had knight d5. And my idea, of course, if he trades, we get into this position after c takes on d5. Computer says it's slightly better for him, but I'm surprised, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I'm up a clear pawn where I'm holding everything. So I'm surprised. I guess he can play over here. I guess because he wins it back, because he's able to play h4, right? Yeah. This is a little bit scary, because then he can just take. All right, this is off the deep end and pretty equal, like getting to this position, and not what happened. So let's go back. So I like g5, and it does look like his best move after g5 is to play c4. Not a move is it? e5 is the best move. e5, yeah. And again, if he played e5, I thought I was going to just play the knight to d5. I saw that I was attacking his rook. I thought he'd have to trade. I would get the pawn chain, and again, I thought I was a clear pawn in a rook endgame. Whether it was winning or not, I really had no idea. I just thought that I'd be better there. According to the computer, I'm slightly worse, but it would have been a fine endgame to kind of play out. All right, instead, he starts to make some mistakes. He plays rook d6, which is still not a bad move. I mean, this was a very reasonable move to me. He's trying to gang up on this pawn. And I should have stuck with my plan of h5. Although my move, knight g6, is second best. I was torn between these two moves. A lot of them are starting to like knight g6 even better. They're starting to like it. Their point went away. Yeah, I was really torn between these two moves. And it looks like I have the right idea, h5, you know. I mean, you guys can see this. Black is just now better defending, and I'm trying to do this. Like, his best move, again, is e5, just kind of pushing. I thought that he would take, you know, rook takes pawn. And then I said, all right, I'm going to take rook takes. He would go rook takes. Like, this is what I calculated. You see the sideline here. And my idea was g4, which is the best move. And then it looks like, I said I thought maybe he'd go to h1, but d1 is actually his best move, so d1. And black is better, but it's not winning. Romain, after the game, said he thought that I was already winning here. I'm not, but interesting. In fact, my best move is rook a8, which is an insane move. It's just preserving the pawn. Maybe I'd play it, to be honest. Because, like, what else am I going to do here? Rook g7, with the idea of sacking the pawn and just getting in there. I may have done that, actually. Just sack the pawn thinking it doesn't matter. Or knight g6. I did like those ideas. Those were in my mind as well. Okay, well, whatever. All right, anyway, I instead play knight g6, which also seems pretty good. Those are the two moves in the position. I should have stuck with my original plan of h5 because it's very pure and clean. But instead I saw that those forking ideas. And again, just so you guys can see my calculation, because I thought this was what was going to happen, was rook takes rook. Excuse me, rook takes pawn, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, and then hitting him with the knight e5, which is exactly what the computer said is great. I thought his only move was rook c3. It is his only move. And again, I thought here, knight takes bishop. Rook takes knight, and yeah, this is the endgame that I kept talking about in the analysis that I kind of pictured. And it looks like this is minus 0.2, minus 0.3. This is really nothing special. But, yeah, and then you play f5. But this is, in fact, yeah, again, takes. I mean, the computer says this is not winning for black. And why would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My pawns are a little bit more forward than his. It's very equal. And I actually regretted maybe even trying to go into this because black is slightly better, but only slightly better. You know, he just gets his king in. Yeah, so, you know, it is what it is. I played the knight. Regardless, I played the knight here. Computer does say he should just take this pawn. I was shocked when he didn't take the pawn, by the way. Like, he plays the next best move, b3, but I was shocked because I thought, like, I was so confused. I play knight e5 anyway, which is the best move. And, yeah, the computer likes my position, but hardly loves it. And I'm about to make my massive, massive blunder. So his best move is... okay, he has two good moves. Bishop e2, strike the pawn, or bishop h5, which is what he played. And he played that to prevent me from playing h5, by the way. That's what he told me, which makes sense. So he plays over here. The move I shouldn't play is the blunder of the fucking match. I'm an idiot of playing king g7. I thought I was trapping his piece. Instead, I need to play more intelligently. I could have played rook fb8, very reasonable move. I should have done that. Rook on the b file to b8, rook down. That would have been a reasonable move too. a5, very reasonable move. b5 even, rook b5. Again, kind of getting it over here. Reasonable move. Instead, I play... Oh, it pains me to see this. I just totally... I'm actually kind of curious. Is g4 not a move here? I was thinking about g4 here too. g4 and he plays... No, he can't play that because I just take it. So then what the hell is he supposed to play here? He's supposed to play rook d2. Oh, he's supposed to just retreat and then, yeah, exactly, and attack me this way. Okay. That is what I thought. But now maybe I can play my... Oh, that's funny thing is now I can actually play my king up because he no longer has that move. So I can actually play my king up here. Problem here is when he plays rook to g2, and now I move over to king h6. Now he can just take the pawn, and this is just very, very drawn. Oh, Yeah, I can pin to win. He plays h3. And the computer says I have a very slight advantage if I just drop back the rook. And this position is just bad for me again if I was to trade off. Because that knight is doing a lot and the bishop is not. Yeah. Cool. Alright, well, nonetheless, as we get back to the main action, I totally blunder. And I swear I mind bricked and blacked and brocked and blocked, and I felt terrible, and he just takes the pawn, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god, 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 I messed up. How does rook c8 even work? Rook c8, oh, it's because if he takes here, I can take here. Still not good for me, mind you, but that's an interesting move. Okay. Instead I spaz out, I play rook b5, and it looks like I'm just lost here. It's plus 2.7. I was ready, not ready to throw in the towel, but I couldn't believe myself. He's supposed to just retreat the bish, and all is good. Instead, he plays a4. Wow, that's funny. When he plays a4, he blunders it. I spent so long in this position. I find the best move, and I find out why, and it looks like it paid off, and I find it. And shockingly, I'm good. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. Well, that's chess for you. Polka polka. Polka polka. All right, well, that's remarkable. That's amazing. He missed his moment. If he found the backwards bishop move, just so you guys can see, in this position, bishop e2 is just cleanly winning. Rook ce7 is pretty good too. And that makes sense, kind of super ganging up on the knight. Those two moves look very clean to me. Instead, he immediately attacks the rook. He just like lashes out. I play rook c5, and amazingly, I am super back in it. This is crazy, crazy stuff. Anyways, best move is bishop e2. Still, I wondered if he played, if he played, because he messed up. He played knight b2. If he played knight b1, it says that black is already better here. What am I supposed to do here? I'm kind of curious. g4. Yeah, I was gonna play g4. Okay, it's just g4. Yeah. Rook. Yeah, and I think b4 would be his best move. And the reason why b4 doesn't quite work is we can pin him with b8. Yeah, cool. I like it. Yeah, baby, I like it like that. This is a pretty wild position here. Let's say b5. A takes b5. If he plays a takes, he's just lost, which is great. So he, let's say, pushes the pawn. And in this position, I'm supposed to just play b4. Okay, sure. Whatever, that didn't happen. All right, so, but that does make sense. If he played king b1 here, I would just play rook to b8. Instead, he plays king b2, and I hit him with the best move. I play g4, which I do. 1 second. All right. They like my move best. I play g4, and immediately, again, I have all these threats. Black, I'm just better again. Chess endgames and everything. Like, this is wild. Like, I really stuck to it. I had that total brain fart, but I found my moxie, guys, you know? Pretty good. This has been a really long video. My apologies, an hour and a half. But, I mean, as you guys can tell, there's a lot happened in this game. Plus, I beat a fairly high-rated player. I think remains the second highest opponent I've beaten so far. I've beaten a couple of 1700s. My record's pretty good, actually. I haven't played anyone who's 1800 plus yet. Mostly by choice. I've avoided the open. But, all right. Now he plays king b1, which is his best move. And I wonder if they like my move. They do. Knight d7 is a good move, but a5 is even better. I couldn't tell you why. Just kind of maintaining the tension. a5 is better than my move. I guess because he can't really do anything. Like his best... What is happening here? Is my computer spazzing? Maybe a little bit. If he plays rook ce7, now they like just the knight to g6, and that's fine. And the reason why is he's supposed to trade with his bishop. I would take with the h-pawn. Of course, I have to. And here, he's got some problems because this pawn's fast, maybe? I'm not sure, actually. I'm really surprised that black is better here. Because after a move like... Why am I better here? Rook d6. Oh, because I play h5 anyway, and I now have the activity, and I'm holding the pawn, and I can just say scrap it, because I'm going to be pushing this one. Yeah, and actually black is definitely better here. Cool. All right. He plays king b1. I thought this was a clever move. Knight d7. Oh, it's funny. He should have gone the line where, you know, sacking the exchange, but he didn't. And black is still better in that line, but he went for the losing move. And I found it, and that was the game. I kind of tricked him there. Wow! Patting myself on the back, as that was the move of the game. I thought this was a great move, to be honest. I mean, just because it's very tricky and difficult. And it's funny, he has to find this move. And I thought that, honestly, like, this is what the computer says is right, and then bishop takes. I put this in. This is what I calculated. And, yeah, the reason why it's here, I should play, like, h5, for example. And black is better, but only a little bit. And it would definitely be tricky. He takes my knight. I play up to attack his bishop. He goes to, like, c4, locking everything in. And, yeah, we just roll. Somehow, the computer's now saying this is completely equal. And I agree. I think this is very equal. I'm up the exchange. She's got some pawns, but it's tricky. I don't know what I would have played here. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what I would have played here. Computer wants me to play a5, which I think I would have been able to find. Just hold the pawns. My pieces are in weird spots, but maybe I would have been able to find that, I think. Thankfully, I didn't have to. And once he trades into this endgame, it is just over for him. It's all over, baby. I will say I was still a little bit nervous, you know, finishing this one out because rook pawn endgames are like always a little bit high, you know, high flying. But this one did seem pretty good. So let's run through these moves because this was a long game, and see if I messed up at any point, if I could have found a quicker win. Again, I was down below 20 minutes. He was down below 10 minutes for the last, you know, for the last 25 moves of the game. So I'm not expecting, you know, perfect accuracy at this point in the end game. It's just the way sometimes, like, I play fast, and I just didn't have that much time, you know? Yeah, I thought his best move, I thought his best move was to move rook c5, yeah. Oh, rook c5, interesting. This rook. That's not what I thought was best move. I thought it was rook d3, which is over here, which is, they're equal. But it's still just winning for me. They like my move, h6, best move. I'm trying to take away these checks. They also like rook g8. I didn't want to be in front of the pawn like that. I wanted to be behind the pawn because I didn't want to block my own pawn from advancing. No, now they say my move is best, h6. Now they say it's good despite it being the best move. You know, silly, finicky computers. He plays rook c3, which, again, was forced, but he's just lost. Yeah, in this position, he is just lost. So, rook e2 is my best move, which is what I don't play. They want to use this rook. I played rook e8, which is also really good. Okay, minus 0.28. 2.8, 2.6, totally fine. Everything is winning. Okay, great. You know, not a big deal. He plays rook f5. Was I not supposed to take this pawn? Yeah, I didn't need to take the pawn. I could have just played rook e6 and then move it over to f6, and that would have been good enough to win. Just so you guys can see, and this is kind of what I was thinking, but I got kind of greedy, is if I play my rook here, let's say he does some move, I don't know, b3. My idea is I can always just play rook f6, I think, right? No, this isn't even that good. So that's not the concept here. Well, I don't know what the concept is. I don't know what the problem is with taking the pawn. I let him go to c7. Okay, so now I've thrown away... Now I'm barely winning. So I'm definitely making a mockery of this game, a butchery. So this is where our accuracy has obviously fallen. So I should just play king to g6 immediately to target the... Okay, so I guess if I attack his rook, he plays c takes on f7, right? And we reach basically identical position. And here they want me to play rook e5. And I guess this makes sense, because now, I mean, they're saying moves like rook f8, just move it down, but now if he checks me, this is fine, because I can now slide to h5, and as you guys can tell, I'm taking away these, these worries. Let's say he attacks this pawn on h7. Nope. Do I just play g3? Is that the idea? Yeah. I just play g3. And let's say he now plays over here. Now I can just run up. And this makes sense because he doesn't have this check, because I can now block with the rook. This makes a lot of sense. Just so you guys can see this. First off, if he has this check over here, it doesn't actually matter, because I can just move to f3. Just move up. And I'm going to be queening. Right. All right. Instead, I played rook e6 thinking that this is winning. He takes my pawn, which is the best move. I play up to g6, which was the only move, of course. He checks me. I play to h5, obviously. I thought this was still winning. And he plays... They want to play rook c4. And then I could play rook g2. Instead, he plays rook check, and I play h4, which is the best move, of course. Okay, I move up. All right. Now he plays rook c4. Supposed to play h5 immediately. Yeah, I should have played h5. I think with h5, I was worried about him getting behind my pawn with both pieces. Like him playing the rook to h7. But here I can go he2, I guess. No, not that rook. This rook. Oh, I see. This makes sense. Because then if he moves rook c5, now I just block. You see that, guys? And now I'm deflecting his attack, and I'm threatening to trade rooks. And if you ever trade rooks, it's very, very easy for me to win. Just so you guys can see this. Because now this comes flying, and I can block his check with my rook, and I make an easy queen. Alright, so that would have been the simpler way to do it. Instead, he played rook c4. I should just play h5. So I kind of missed that. Instead I play rook g2, which is the second best move. Now he plays b4, which is the best move. They still want me to play h5. I need to just lock this up. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I move up, which is a mistake. And he goes down, and I realize I should just move back, but that's not even correct. Instead, what I can do here is rook f2. Wow, so I can sacrifice the pawn here, just so you guys can see this. h5, go to g3. Oh, it's not sacrificing the pawn because I'm defending it. Oh boy, this is wild. Wild, wild, wild. The wild, wild west. All right. Instead, he plays rook c5. I play back because I'm confused. He now plays b5, which is his best move. I take. I mean, I'm barely winning. Like, it's not so simple. I definitely messed this up quite a bit, as you guys can tell. In fact, it's minus 0.5 or 0.7, depending on how you look at it. Like, I'm not really doing so hot here. Rook f2, and it's actually a draw. How is it drawn here? He needs to play rook c4. which is what he does. Plays rook c4. H5, rook g2. I play back. I'm like, oh man, I messed up. So I play back. He needs to play rook b4, which is what he does. I realize I've totally shrewded this one. I've messed it up. I play rook e1 check, which is what happens. He goes to b2. I play rook e to e2. But they want rook g to g1 to get behind me like that. So apparently I'm lost here. You guys see this? I am lost here. Rook c7, and he's winning. Okay. Instead, he misses it. I play rook e5. It's the best move. Plays rook b4. It's the best move. Play rook c5. It's the best move. This is crazy. Crazy endgame. Sorry, super long video, but super long game. 3 hour plus game. You know, we spent 65 moves each. You know, you get 5 seconds per move. So that's 130 moves. That's like another 10 minutes. He got down to 2 minutes. I got down below 10. So we basically both used almost 90 minutes each, an hour and a half each, 3 hours. Yeah, it was more than a 3 hour game. So crazy. All right, so how does he butcher this? So he then plays b6. Now g takes on c2 is the move, which I do. So apparently this is a draw. So how did he not draw this? So what happened here? Oh, it's as soon as he moves up. What does he need to do is he needs to play king b1, and king b1, I thought that I was going to mate him. I thought I was going to move back and just checkmate him, honestly. So maybe I'm missing something. Just so you guys can see, I thought I was going to play here. Oh, apparently he can just get this rook over, and if I check, he blocks. So just so you guys can see, he moves over, and this is not checkmate. So I play rook g1. He would block here. I would take. He would take with the king, and then I would drop all the way back to f8. Maybe he would play b7. I would play rook b8. And is this really not winning? I guess not, because now he's actually able to run and defend the squares. Wow. h5. And he gets over in time. Okay. Instead, he moves up, and this is what gives me the win, because I'm able to check him. And now, once this occurs, now I am officially winning. It all kind of boiled down to this move, and there's nothing he can do. He moves over. I obviously take the rook. He takes back. And now it's game. Alright, so it looks like I had a hard endgame, and he had his chance to draw, and he didn't. And I got lucky, and I won. Okay? You know? And this is just finally fully winning. I'm sure you guys can see this. Alright. He goes to c5, but it's just lost. Because here I can play h5, which is what I do. No, I play g3 first. Yep, g3 is the best move. Oh boy, it's why you should play it out. Why you gotta just keep pushing. People make mistakes, and it's hard to convert. They look pretty winning, but yeah, rook d7 is fine, and I do play h5 finally. So I really need to play h5 sooner. g2 is still winning, mind you. I thought it wasn't, but it is. I play h6, and yeah, and this is GG. He plays rook d4 check. Doesn't matter anymore. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Yeah, and as he resigned this position because with G2, only move, of course. If he goes here, I go here. He makes a queen. I check him. I win the queen, and that is game. So score one for the good guy. That's me. Do a review one more time. Yeah, 85%. Again, anytime I'm over 85%, it's a good win. Romaine was at 80%. We played a lot in the end game. It was really challenging. It's a hard game. I had that one blunder, which was brutal. But other than that, I guess we just weren't that good in the end game. End games are hard. One of these days, I'm going to start, putting more time into end game play. But that day is not today. I'm actually kind of curious. That day is not today. Okay, White, staking claim the center, grabbing space, D5 attacks the center. Yep, thank you. That's a great move. Thanks, Carl. They kick the bishop. Developing knight. Are they ever going to, pose a question for me, or they're just going to show it through like this? This isn't very helpful. All right. The game is close, but White now gains the advantage. And it's what he did, but I thought my move was good. But let's see. Is the rook up? Yeah. Boom. Rook c7, and everything is equal. I thought this was a good move, everybody. Ugh, this was so bad. I cannot believe what felt. Yeah, I just missed this. All your hopes, bloop, down the fucking drain. Your fate is sitting right beside you. All right, what was actually the best move here? God, what did the computer want to do? I think they actually want to play this move. It's good. The other move is just dropping this. What happens if you... Oh, I see, because if he does that, then I can maybe play rook a8. Maybe. Does defend the pawn. Oh, so bad. But he misses it, and I find the move, and we get this position. But then this endgame is not so simple, and I actually apparently brutalized it at one point. I needed to just play h5 sooner, obviously. Doi! And this makes sense, because he can drop and just defend it that way. But if I play here, now I'm getting behind, and now we're talking. Now we're talking. And now I'm winning. And I don't butcher this one. Alright, well, let's go back. Let's save this one as part of the... Whoops. Add to game collection. February Swiss. Well, I won. Very long recap. Very, very long. It's been a very long recap for sure, but it was hopefully worth it. So I'm playing Zach Tower next week. Should be exciting. Should be good. Should be lots of fun. Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious how my buddies did. Ben beat Loring Luretti. I don't know who that is. There was a guy playing on my right. Mike played against Daniel Gillis. Yeah, this guy's unrated and he's in the open section. It looked like Mike Brown kicked his ass, to be honest. Looked like that to me. Who? Nico won. I think this guy is very underrated because Matt Wesley is the guy who played a 98% plus game against me. Matt, I think, had the game of his life against me, to be completely honest, but I think is obviously a strong player, although only 1,500, and Nico beat him. So, yeah, you do the math. And then the lower section, I don't really know these people. Camille sometimes plays up, but I have not played him. I haven't played I haven't played anyone in this section. Except for Theodore Casey, funny enough. I played him in the tournament. Remember, he's the guy that resigned in the drawn position, which is great. He lost to an 1100. Wow. I thought this kid was pretty strong, actually. But, you know, who the hell knows? Farkas. Guroza. Sifter, Kozu, Casey. Okay, yeah, I don't know these people. Looks like Jamie played a side game. I did too. Week 1. All right, and real quick in my old stomping grounds, and I might be back here next month. You never know. Although with 1 win already in the Open, it's looking like I'm staying in the Open. Unfortunately. Zane, Drew, Sonny. Okay, come on, Zane. Come on, Zane. I'm curious how your game went, buddy. That's everything from me. All right, this went very long, but there was a lot to talk about, a lot to analyze. Pretty wild. Overall, pretty good. You know, accuracy. End games are tough, but I hung in there and I got the dub. All right, good night, all. Good night, all.